Hey guys, it's Dr. Bickling from Own It Dental. As always, here's my contact information if you want to get a hold of me. And if you guys are enjoying these videos, please do hit that thumbs up button, that like button. It's right down below. It only takes you a second and it'll stop me from questioning whether you're really watching them or not. Speaking of questions, today we're going to talk about open-ended questions and how to use them in dentistry. So let's dig into it. All right, like I said, today we're going to talk about open-ended questions. You know, I've been training dentists for well over 20 years in my career, and I've probably trained over 200 dentists. And as you all know, I teach them how to speak in questions. And we're going to get into more detail in our next video on talking in questions. But today I want to keep it simple, because out of those 200 plus dentists, I really haven't had a lot of luck getting them to just speak in questions. They might do it for a little bit, but then they revert back to their old ways, the see it, say it method, where they just see something, then they tell. They educate, they inform, they raise dental IQ, and they all end up with the same results, which is to say, you know, pretty mediocre. A lot of patients out there walking around without getting their dentistry done. But I have been successful getting them to talk with just a couple of questions. And these questions your doctors can start asking right away. And these are two open-ended questions. Not only are they easy to use, but they also have a purpose. And so that's what we're going to dig into right now. So first, what are the two open-ended questions I teach my doctors? These are things you want to have your doctors write down. The two open-ended questions are, what are your thoughts on that question? Or tell me about that. All right, and so the way that this works is doctor will walk into a room, they might do an exam, you'll get some radiographs, and hopefully you have an intraoral camera, and you'll get some photos. And you'll put these photos up on the computer screen or up on the TV, and let me grab my pointer here. And so you might say, you know, Mr. Jones, this is one of your back teeth, and there's this little dark line on the side of that tooth. What are your thoughts on that? And then you button it, you be quiet, and you let them talk. You know, normally we dentists, we're going to show them this little crack, and this is a cracked tooth, and it can go into the dentin and possibly into the nerve, and you could possibly need a root canal. It's that see it, say it method. But we're not going to do that. We're going to do an open-ended question. So, Mr. Jones, this is one of your back teeth. It's got this little line coming down the side. What are your thoughts on that? And then you let the patient talk. And they're only going to say one of two things or react one of two ways. They're either going to go, ooh, that looks terrible. In which case, you know that they're concerned about that. You can tell by their response that that's something that they're concerned about. And then, of course, you agree with whatever they say. You say, yeah, it looks pretty bad. It's a cracked tooth. You know, are you interested in fixing it? And then you move forward. People that respond like that, remember that awareness and concern quadrants, they're up at the top. They're in the concern level. So the likelihood of case acceptance is probably pretty high. Or you could say, it could go this way. You could say, Mr. Jones, you know, this is one of your back teeth. It's got this little dark line going down the side of it there. Tell me about that. And they're going to go, but it doesn't hurt. Translation, I have an objection. They can see that it's a crack. They know that the tooth is cracked. It's not logical to not want to fix it, but they have an objection. And so that might bring us to pose a second question. Well, Mr. Jones, would you like to wait for it to hurt? Question. Or, is this something you'd like to fix before it hurts? Question. So you start to get an idea of where the patient is. See, open-ended questions, they have one of two purposes. They either let you know that the patient is concerned about something, in which case you know that the case likelihood of case acceptance is pretty high, or it'll bring out the objection, in which case you just follow the steps of overcoming an objection, like we had in our video 2 videos ago. And what are those steps? You agree with the objection. You know, they might say, I don't know, that looks expensive. Well, you're right, it could cost a little bit of money. But then we eliminate that objection with a what-if scenario. Well, what if we could come up with payment options? Would that work for you? All right, so how does that look with our other question? Here's our other question. Tell me about that. So you bring up a photo of a broken tooth. Mr. Jones, I see you have a broken tooth on the back there. Tell me about that. And again, your open-ended question, you shut up, you let the patient talk. Their open-ended question will tell you whether they're concerned about it or if there's an objection in the way. So, Mr. Jones, I see you have a broken tooth in the back. Tell me about that. oh yeah, it just broke and it's starting to hurt, and I think I want to get it fixed. And all you have to do is, you know what to say, okay, right? The patient's telling you that they want to have it done. They're telling you that they're concerned about it, but it could go the other way. Mr. Jones, I see you got a broken tooth up there. Tell me about that. Yeah, it's been broken for like 10 years and it doesn't bother me. What's that telling you? It's telling you they're not concerned about it. And they're not concerned for logical reasons. They're concerned for emotional reasons. And what's that emotional reason? It's the objection. There's something getting in the way. So then you'll want to pose a second question to them is, yeah, I understand it's been broken for a while and it's not hurting you. But what, if you don't mind me ask, what's stopping you from fixing that tooth? Question, right? Normally what we would do is we'd finger wag at them and we'd shame them. If you don't fix it, your head's gonna explode. The decay can go into the nerve or it can go into the root, and then we have to pull the tooth or do a root canal and it's gonna cost more, right? We finger wag and shame patients. I'm just telling you, just ask another question, Hey, Mr. Jones, in an ideal world, what's stopping you from fixing that tooth? Question. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to draw out the objection. You're never going to solve the objection if you can't draw it out. And Mr. Jones might say, well, I've been told about it and I told I need a root canal and a crown and it's just too much money. And then what do? You agree with it. You're right, it could be a lot of money. But what if we could do some payment options for you? How would that work out? Would you then want to fix it? Question, right? So we're using questions to see if we can draw out the objection and overcome the objections. And the nice thing about these open-ended questions, it's going to tell you where the patient's state of mind is. Mr. Jones, I see you have a broken tooth. Tell me about that. Yeah, it's really bad and I want to fix it. Great. Okay. So it's going to tell you one of two things. Either they're concerned about it, in which case the likelihood of case acceptance is very high, or it's going to draw out the objection, in which case you just do the methods that we did a couple of videos ago in overcoming objections. So in any case, you guys can start using those open-ended questions as early as today, as early as now. Tell me your thoughts on that, or tell me about that. Those are our two open-ended questions. That's all you have to know. It's only two questions, and we'll get into the complicated stuff on the next video. So again, I'm Dr. Bickling. Here's my contact information. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. I'll talk to you soon. Bye. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like it, go to ownitdental.com or click the link above and check out my services. I have dozens of hours of training videos and I've negotiated reduced lab fees for all my clients. So if you want to get out of the dental chair and start owning your business, go to ownitdental.com and check out my services, and I'll see you soon.